scam and this horrific abuse?
Yeah, I would say that there are multiple religions. These kind of things are, I would say, more concentrated in the third world countries, but there are some countries, even in Europe, where children are disfigured in different ways, not necessarily this particular way, but in different ways where, arms are broken or legs are broken or just other disfigurations that you can't even, you have difficulty even speaking about because it's relating to children. It's, again, religion agnostic because it's people who do that want to exploit whatever power they have for their own purposes to get some more money, essentially.
I was wondering if you could share with my listeners around the world the story of the 10-year-old girl who was recently forced by her much older brother, by the way, a local Taliban commander, to wear a suicide bomber vest.
This is just, it breaks your heart.
I was reading this. Now, I'm a dad. I've got 6 children. Yes. I've got 7 grandchildren, an 8th on the way. And I'm reading the information that Rich was kind enough to send us in preparation for our interview today. And I was saying, you've got to be kidding. How could...
Yes, I mean, look, I saw a father. I had 3 children,
right.
And I just could not comprehend that somebody who, the older brother of this girl was old enough to essentially be her father. How could somebody with that kind of a relationship send somebody so dear, that should be so dear to them, to die? I cannot comprehend it.
I can't, and mind you, I've had guests on the show over the years who are believers in a theology where there is a God and they believe in the Bible. And when you look at the premise of which Christianity, for example, was founded, you've got God, the Creator, the Father. Now, you're a father, I'm a father. I've got friends who are fathers. And they would never think of doing to their children what God the Creator has done to His children throughout history. So is God a bad example of what a good father should be? Because if God could kill all the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, if God could kill everybody on earth except Noah and his family, if God could kill all the Egyptians, in the story of Moses going to the Promised Land, when the sea opened and Moses crossed the sea with his followers, with the children of Israel, and when the Egyptians followed, God closed the sea, and all the Egyptians who were following them died. So is this a reason why some people actually believe it's all right to be abusive to children? Because throughout history in the Bible, God has been very abusive towards His children.
Well, you make a good point. But I think that could be a very interesting discussion as well. I think that there is, to answer that particular question very briefly, I think that my view, and this is again my perspective on this particular topic, is that there is an element of discipline.
Yes.
Right. And I think that at some point there is a discipline that, different ways we discipline our children also.
I agree.
And it's usually commensurate with let's say the mistake or the problem that was created.
Sure.
And with God, you're talking on a different scale. So we can't really, I would say, I cannot certainly put myself in that kind of a mindset.
But once again, one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. And how many people were killed in the Old Testament? By God.
You're right.
So anyway, I'm just trying to understand if this is some of the logic that these mentally unbalanced people are trying to justify their actions with. There has to be something in their head that's not right. Because no matter what my kids did, I would never ever kill them. I would never send them anywhere with a vest that is full of bombs, knowing that my child was going on a suicide mission. God, what kind of moron, kind of monster would do that?
Look, we couldn't agree more on this. I personally think this particular case of things like this, which I will describe here in a moment, they really, in my view, have nothing to do with religion. This is just a mentally unbalanced person that obviously does not have any regard for life except maybe their own, because if they were that much devoted, maybe this guy should have put the vest on himself and gone to blow up.
Exactly. But what kind of person goes out and puts a vest on that's going to kill himself and other people? Anyway, like you said, that's for another discussion some other time.
Yeah. So in this case, this guy put the vest on his 10-year-old sister, sent her out, and the idea was that she would go out to a police station and in the morning and hide in the police station at night, so that in the morning, when the police station is fully populated, all the officers are there and everything, she would blow herself up and most of the police officers along with herself. The fortunate thing is that as she was crossing the river at night, the water was freezing cold, and the poor girl, of course, started to scream. The same policeman that she was going to blow up in the morning at night came in and fished her out of the water. When her brother, this leader, so-called leader, saw the police coming, of course, what did he do? He hightailed it out of there, leaving her on her own. So they fished her out. They obviously saw the vest, and then she gave up the whole story, told them everything. So the good thing is nothing really happened in that case. For me, the saddest part of this thing was that, of course, they sent the girl back to her house, to her family, to her brother.
Oh, no. So
because that's what they had to do.
Wow. And this is just one of the many cases that you've investigated, that you've written about. And I have to ask you this. We have to go for the news break in about a minute.
Sure.
How were you able to complete your book on the topic that you were writing? My hat is off to you, number one, for bringing this to light, for having the courage and the dedication as a father to write this book. But how did it affect you and, towards your family?
So it was I was very driven to write it. It was, I want to say a labor of love, but it's not that I loved the topic. It was something that I felt I had to write about and to educate, first of all, myself, because, the topic had been with me for a while. But I learned a lot during the 3.5 years that it took for me from the first, when I started this, to where it actually got published. I learned a tremendous amount. And what I'm expecting or hoping is that my children, some of whom are old enough to read the book, will read the book and have read the book and are learning from this.
Zulfiqar, we have got to take my news break. Please stand by. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Exo Nation, we're talking about corrupt spirituality has corrupt and tragic results when it comes to children. We'll be back. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we get to my guest this hour, Zulfiqar Rashid, coming up next, we are going to be talking to the Whale Whisperer. Now, we have all heard of the Horse Whisperer, but Patricia Corey is my guest the next hour. She is known worldwide, and lovingly, I might add, as the Whale Whistler. And in the final hour of tonight's show, I will be joined by my good friend and colleague here at Relmar. Corey Kay is joining us for the X-Zone Tech Zone. We're going to be talking about that big hacking into eBay and what you can do to protect yourself from being hacked, and we'll also be opening up the emails that you've sent to Corey over the last week. That's here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Zulfiqar Rashid, and he is a gentleman who is he's part of the solution. You know, I've said this many times that there are so many people who want to be a armchair quarterback. They like to say that if they could do this, they would, or this, that, and the other thing. But when push comes to shove, they do nothing. They see injustices and they cross the street, or they turn their back. This man here, our guest this hour, Zulfiqar Rashid, is doing something. He's letting the world know what is going on with children. Now, his website is www.zulfiqarrashid.com, and he is the author of The Rat Boys of Karlabad. It's a book that explores one particular heinous form of child abuse, and once again, in the name of religion. What is going on in this world today? We have all these different religions, all these different philosophies. Look, it's just not religions that are in countries that are you know, in Asia, the Middle East, or wherever. Look at the Catholic Church, for goodness sake. How many children have been abused by the people that they have been taught throughout their childhood that they should trust? My goodness, they call the priest father. I'm a father. Zulfiqar is a father. And we would never, ever think of doing what, all in the name of religion, people are doing to children. How can we help? How can we help eradicate this problem, my friend?
Well, that's a $1 million question. And I think it starts with awareness, with knowing that these things are happening. Mm-hmm. And I would like to think that fundamentally people are good. And when one is aware of something like this, mm-hmm. one would do something. And the something, it's not a question of the scale, it's just anything. So we were talking earlier about a simple example, if you are in a country where if you go to a place and somebody comes to you, a child comes to you begging for money, mm-hmm. instead of giving them money, give them a meal.
Yes.
Because the money will not benefit the child. It will go to their handlers, to the crime rings, to who manage this beggar rings. So there are things that we can do. I try to, whenever I go to a different country, I try to go and look for an organization or an institution like an orphanage or something where you can actually donate something where you know it is again going to benefit the people that or the part of humanity that needs the help.
We are actually talking about organized crime rings that are operating these beggar, what do we call them? Beggar squads? Yeah, I think that's the right terminology.
Yeah.
Beggar squads. That, the kids go out